This is the 11th in a series of video-based lessons that will continue with the process of translating business requirement into a final entity relationship diagram, or ERD, for a data model of moderate difficulty. In this video, we continue with our moderately complex water utility data model. We will go through the remaining two stages of DM process. Number 3, refining ERD, which consists of a number of transformations, some more common than others, and number 4, finalizing ERD with documentation and error checking. The last part of the presentation will discuss the conversion process from an ERD to an RDBMS and apply it to the water utility example. We will convert all the ERD entities and relationships into SQL tables and foreign keys, coming full circle to the beginning of the class. This material is covered in the second part of Chapter 6 in the textbook. We begin the refining ERD step by discussing two of the most common refining processes. Number 1, transforming attributes into entities, and number 2, splitting compound attributes into smaller ones. As you may recall from the previous presentation, an employee was initially considered an attribute of the reading entity. Because other employee attributes such as supervisor, home address, or local office for more efficient dispatch may be needed in the future, the employee becomes a separate entity. Names, addresses, credit card info, and similar compound attributes should always be split into their component attributes for easier search and analysis. In addition to EMPNO, or employee number, let's assume our employee has a name and title, just to add a few attributes. Okay, let's open or switch to our last diagram with our initial ERD and save it as, just to preserve it again, number 3 WU, what is it, a refining diagram, refining underscore diagram. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we have to remove the EMPNO from the readings table, because again, you may recall that the ERDs do not have primary keys in their entities or associated with their entities. And then we'll add a new entity called employee, okay, with that same EMPNO primary key, okay. And then what else we got? We got EMP name and we got EMP title attributes. Close. Let's move the new employee next to reading. It's kind of appears to be hidden behind the rate. It might end up someplace else when you do it, because a single employee can and will perform multiple readings. We have a one-to-m or one-to-many relationship between employee and reading. Okay, since an employee is required to perform a reading, there is no automated reading at this point, and the employee is mandatory for the reading. On the other hand, a reading is optional for supervisory employees or some such individuals, so a reading is optional. Okay, so employee is required, but a reading is optional in the performs relationship. Let's insert it. New performs relationship. Okay, select employee, and then one can have multiple readings. Okay, since employee is required, check mandatory under employee, and because reading is optional, let's choose optional under reading. Close and line up as best as you can in the bottom right corner of the window. Okay, make sure to save all the changes. Now switch back to presentation and let's talk about splitting compound attributes. Okay, such as employee and customer names, as well as customer meter addresses. It's pretty straightforward. The only tricky thing is to get the attributes in the desired order in the ER assistant software. It's just more of a nuisance than anything. For customer, okay, we have to first delete the address and customer type, and then replace customer name with first name, and then add customer last name, street, city, state, zip, and finally reinsert the customer type. Okay, so all those are shown right here in the middle of the current slide. So let's go back to the ER Assistant. Double click on customer attributes, and what do we got? We got our delete customer type and customer address. Okay, and then replace customer name and customer first and last. We already have that, so that's good. Then let's add cust street. Okay, cust city, cust state, and cust zip. Okay, and then reinsert cust type. Okay, and it should match number, first, last, street, city, states. It looks right. It should match the slide. We're going to have to reposition these as the boxes sort of lengthen. Okay, save the changes for the and resize, of course appropriately. So let's do meter next. Okay, for the meter, we first need to delete both meter size and model. Okay, and then we have to modify or rename, I should say, meter address as meter street. Okay, and then add meter city, state, and zip. And zip. Okay, and then reinsert meter size and model. Okay, close that. Readjust the relationship between the meter readings, save the changes. Okay, and then finally for the employee that we just inserted, we're going to delete the employee title and reinsert it later and change the employee name to, what do we got, EMP first name, and then we'll insert EMP last name. Okay, and then reinsert EMP title. We just deleted a second ago. Okay, so that should be fine. Save all the changes. Okay, and then let's switch back to the presentation. Okay, all right. Make sure that your diagram matches the one over here. I'm pretty sure it will.